Welcome to the Medical Minute for July 6, 2005. In recent news, a study suggesting that treatment with the beta blocker carvedilol reduced microalbuminuria among patients with type 2 diabetes and hypertension at baseline, and reduced the development of microalbuminuria in those who had no protein in their urine at baseline, compared to treatment with another beta blocker, metoprolol. The study focused on a pre-specified endpoint of the previously published glycemic effects in diabetes carvedilol-metoprolol comparison in hypertensive trials, or the Gemini trial. The main Gemini results showed that treatment with carvedilol stabilized hemoglobin A1C, a measure of glycemic control, improved insulin resistance, and slowed the development of microalbuminuria compared with metoprolol in these patients.
If you take this data together with the main trial, it suggests that carvedilol is a much preferred beta blocker for those with type 2 diabetes, because it doesn't work against glycemic control and it blocks inflammatory effects on top of traditional therapy used in those patients.
A lot of great news is coming out of the Philadelphia region lately. GSK has announced 5 new vaccines in the pipeline that will likely make a dramatic impact on infectious disease worldwide. In development are vaccines that target rotavirus, pneumococcus, and HPV, which is known to cause cervical cancer. GSK is also developing an improved vaccine for influenza, as well as combinations to work against meningitis. In other recent news, Cyoes and the FDA notified healthcare professionals of revisions to the adverse reactions and effect on mortality section of the prescribing information for Natracor, indicated for patients with acutely decompensated congestive heart failure. The Dear Healthcare Professional letter also provided information from Cyoes on several published reports that raised the question of whether the product may have adverse effects on survival and kidney function compared to control agents, generally nitroglycerin and diuretics. Data presented at the American Society of Hypertension demonstrated that very difficult to treat patients may achieve blood pressure targets on a fixed dose ARB thiazide combo. African Americans, Hispanics, patients with metabolic syndrome, and other traditionally tough to treat subgroups reached their systolic blood pressure goals more than 70% of the time on a fixed dose irbesartan hydrochlorothiazide regimen in a prospective trial. A post-marketing study has found a higher rate of adverse events reported to the FDA for rosuvastatin, otherwise known as Crestor, than for the other available statins. An editorial cautions that studies based on adverse event reports are unreliable, and that even if rosuvastatin does increase relative risk, the absolute number of events remains very low. A new meta-analysis by Barnoria in Circulation, May 23rd edition, outlines the mechanistic effects of secondhand smoke and has shown that cardiovascular system appears to be exquisitely sensitive to the toxins inhaled during passive smoking. A new economic analysis of the heart protection study has shown that statin therapy, in this case simvastatin, brand name Zocor, is cost-effective for a wider range of individuals with vascular disease or diabetes than previously recognized. The principal investigator of HPS, Professor Rory Collins of the Radcliffe Infirmary at Oxford, says that it would now be appropriate to consider reducing the estimated level of vascular event risk at which statins are recommended based on these new findings. But in an accompanied editorial by doctors Amai and Zhang of the CDC, they disagree. In this interview, Amai said, "When you take this new study in conjunction with what we know, statin therapy makes sense for those at higher risk, but for those at moderate risk of vascular events, we need more data." For more information on this trial, tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the live debate between Oxford's Professor Rory Collins and doctors Amai and Zhang of the CDC.